It's time for the Money Puzzle Podcast. With good conversations and realistic solutions to the money puzzles we all face every day. I'm your host, financial advisor, chartered financial consultant, and president of Edgen Insurance and Financial, Robert Edgen. Now let's get this show started. Hi there, hello, and welcome to the Money Puzzle Podcast. I am Robert Edgen, and I'll be your guide for the ride for the next few minutes. Each week, we look at a different piece of the money puzzle and practical ways to solve it so we can have the financial confidence you deserve and the
future that you dream of.
That's right. This is episode number 40. Back in studio with me 2 weeks in a row is Mr. Brian Johnson. Thanks for joining me.
Welcome.
My business, I used it last time.
You did. You can't do it this time. Let's just keep going.
Oh, my gosh. I'm running out of them.
It's all right.
We've been talking about what to do in your 50s. Last week, we covered number 7, 6, 5, and 4. Today, we're going to cover the top 3 money moves to make in your 50s. This has been a whole long series on what to do in each decade of your life.
Yeah, absolutely. Wait till you get to your 60s.
Oh, there's so much to do in your 60s, but it's exciting.
It is. Yeah, absolutely.
It's exciting. Just think.
Almost there. You're almost to the end of your race.
We're working on it.
Your working race.
Your working race. That's right. So, all right. So I'm excited to get into this, finishing up the conversation about the 50s. But before we do, I do a lot of reading and research, and I come across financial news headlines and articles that catch my interest. So I thought we'd take just a minute and look at some news. Today's news headline comes to us from Reuters, and the headline reads, "Man who ate $120,000 banana at art show says, I'm not sorry."
I heard about that.
That's right. In New York, a performance artist ate a banana taped to a wall that was an artwork valued at $120,000, and he said his actions were not vandalism, nor does he regret it.
No, he was a diabetic, and he needed some sugar in his system, so he flipped the quarter. I don't know, whatever.
Well, he said, actually, I decided I was going to eat that banana in the morning, but I wasn't hungry enough, so I spent another 2 hours walking around, and then I eat it. Is what it says. So I don't think he's from the U.S. because of the way that this is the way he's reading.
No, it's probably just a journalist.
Oh, he was born in Georgia, the former Soviet Republic. Artist Maurizio Catalan's piece, A Banana Duct Taped to a Wall, which was called Comedian, had already sold for $120,000.
How is that possible? A banana is 25 cents, and what? Duct tape is what?
Not $124,999.75. Now, this is another crazy part to this story. You remember we talked, I shared a story a few months ago about the gold toilet who was stolen? Guess who the artist was?
Same dude.
The same guy who taped the banana to the wall.
So, in other words, there's too many people with too much money that spend their money on things that
gold toilets.
A weird artist.
All I know is I'm never hiring this dude to do art for me.
No.
Everything he makes gets stolen.
Or that, or are you going to bring you a roll of toilet paper and tell you it's a never melting snowball or something?
I like that. Actually, I'm about to make some art right after we're done here. So it's actually kind of a funny story, and I've got the link to it in our show notes. So if you want to read that, go check it out after the episode. But for now, I think we should go ahead and get to the hot topic for today.
Yeah.
All right, so for today's hot topic, let's finish up the 50s. As a quick refresher,
let's go through
last week, what was number 7?
Envision your retirement with your spouse and start making plans for it.
Okay, number 6 was this is the decade to figure out your long-term care plans.
That's right.
Number 5.
Combine all of your accounts that can be combined together. Simplify your life.
That's right. And then number 4, pay off your debts other than your mortgage. So your credit cards, your cars. You do not want to go into retirement or really even your 60s having a bunch of debt.
No, and then it leads us into number 3.
Number 3 is to get that mortgage paid off, figure out how to do it by the time you retire.
That's right.
So, go ahead.
Yeah, what I was going to say, the biggest reason for that, kind of like your other debts, is cash flow.
That's right. The more you have to spend on other things, the less you get to spend on yourself.
That's right. And when you travel, that's one of the things that you want to do. Guess what? Your home's going to be left empty for a while. You're going to have somebody come by and look at it. That may cost you some money. If you're having that house payment, It could hinder those things.
Absolutely. And so really the goal is to find out, okay, I'm now entering my 50s, or I'm 52 years old. I'm going to retire when I'm 66, let's say. Right. That gives me from 52 to 66, 14 years. Run the math, grab a calculator.
Online and find a mortgage payoff calculator.
A mortgage, that's right. If you just Google mortgage payoff calculator, you get, I think, 14 million of them.
Probably.
Yes. So just go do the math to find out, in 14 years, what does it take to pay that thing off?
Right.
So you enter your retirement mortgage free.
Yeah. Or, I didn't think of this until now. What if you wanted to downsize? Now is the time to start preparing for that. What kind of house would you want to be in? Mm-hmm. A patio home with no landscaping and shoveling snow, like if you're in Colorado Springs or something. That could be a way to, I just thought of that could be a really good way to go and start planning for that downsize.
Well, and that could also be a part of paying off your house.
Yeah.
If it's the goal is to downsize before you retire, and you're in a, let's say, a $500,000 house, you're going to go to a $300,000 house, but you still owe $200,000, right? Then you really only have to figure out how to clear up, $100,000 or whatever the math works out to be.
Right.
I wasn't paying attention to my own example, so have listened to the to the math.
$500,000 to $300,000.
So you might not have to figure out how do I pay it all off.
Right.
But if your goal is to be in a $300,000 patio home, what you're going to sell for, what's that leave you in cash to put, and then how do you have the other cash so that you don't have a house payment in retirement?
That's right.
That's really what it boils down to.
It does.
Don't have a house payment in retirement.
Yeah.
So, all right, that was number 3. Brian, what's number 2?
Number 2 is beginning to look at your risk tolerance. To take a fresh look at your investments to see how risky that you truly want to be. How risky are you? Because if you sit down and you think about it, if I lost 50% on an investment today, how would that make me feel good? No, I would be really upset.
Yes.
But if I lost 20 or if I lost 10, it wouldn't be nearly as bad. Could I emotionally handle that? And if you're only 5, 6, 7 years out and you were to 2007, 8, 9, right, when things really downturned, how much time is it going to take you to recover? Do we have enough time before your goal, let's say 65 years old, let's just say, to recover what you had? Because it may end up forcing you to work longer.
Yeah, I think the longest recovery period from the downturn, based on how you were invested, was about 39 months. Okay.
In total, I think so. Yeah, something like that.
So 3.5 years, right? Or even just call it 3 years. So now if you're 60, right, and or you want to retire at 62 when you're 59, and you lose that, and all you do is get back to where you were,
or even if you're just above, you still lost a whole bunch of time of growth. So it will still affect when you could retire.
Yeah. So now talking about this, it's not that you want to go get all conservative, take away all your growth. You still have to have some investments for growth, correct?
Yes, because that growth bucket, as we talk oftentimes, is not going to be needed immediately in retirement, right? It may be 10 to 15 years down the road in retirement. So you still need to get some growth out of your portfolio. You don't want to limit your portfolio to 3%.
Right. You always should have some kind of growth in your portfolio to keep up with inflation, to do other things. And again, like Brian was saying, when you enter your retirement, let's say it's 65 years old, then you've got 20 years, right? Or 30 years.
Well, as an example, I just talked to one of our retiree accounts last Friday, I think is what it was. And they're starting now wanting to start drawing money on their accounts. They haven't for years. They've been retired for a while. They just haven't wanted to. But we got to talk about how much cash we have and why we have such a large cash position. So we can provide that income. We know we will be able to for at least 2 years.
Yeah. But then you still have some funds.
Then we have some funds that are less aggressive for the years that keep dumping into that cash bucket. And then we have some growth as well. Even at 76, almost 77 years old, we still hold some growth funds.
Yeah. And you have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to. And then along with this, updating your risk tolerance, re-looking at how your investments are all put together. Are they too aggressive, right? Do I need to scale it down some? Can you handle a big loss? And part of that is now you might need to go rebalance rebalance your portfolio.
Yeah, which should be done every year anyways. At least once a year. If you're managing it yourself, you need to rebalance that once a year.
So rebalancing your portfolio kind of looks like this. You know, if you've got half of your money in stocks and half of your money in bonds, then at the end of the year, in theory, your stocks might have grown by 10% and your bonds by 5%. Okay, just making up numbers, right? That means that your stocks now are overweighted and it's not 50-50 anymore. Now it's 60-40.
Right.
So you would want to rebalance to make it 50-50 again, or whatever your proper allocations are supposed to be.
Yeah, and we oftentimes recommend that when you're trying to do it on your own, right? But a lot of our money managers that we work with, they may overweight in the stock market depending on the economy, or underweight the stock market depending on the economy.
Well, now you're getting technical.
They do, but that's what happens. But if you're doing it on your own, do it every single year.
Rebalance. So, time to check out your risk tolerance. Time to find out, am I still where I need to be as far as diversification? Am I starting to get too aggressive? Do I need to start to scale things back? Because in general, the closer you get to retirement, the more you need to start scaling things down as far as risk goes. Right. So, okay. That was number 2, which leads to number 1. Your 50s is the decade to max out your contributions to your work plans or your IRAs or whatever it is you're doing, because now you are at your max earning years.
Hopefully,
that's right. And your expenses, in theory, should be a lot less because your kids are gone.
Yeah. Hopefully. Are darn close to being gone.
That's right.
Yeah. And then you've done proper planning for college. So now you're going to have some freer money, and instead of going out and buying, I don't know,
more expensive
a new
cars,
car, a Ferrari, right? Invest that money. Take advantage of putting that money into your 401k, whether it's the Roth side or a traditional side.
Once you turn 50, the IRS gives you what's called a catch-up.
They do.
They allow you to do a catch-up contribution. So, Brian, you want to talk about that real quick?
Sure. So, for your 401ks, your catch-up this year is now $6,500. So extra that you can put in to your 401k, your 403b. Then you have your traditional or Roth IRAs.
Right. You can throw another $1,000 in there, right? It's not a ton,
huge, but it's more.
But it's extra.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you let that money grow and grow and grow, then $1,000 turns into a heck of a lot more.
Right.
You know, so maxing out your contributions sounds scary, maybe, but the truth is, this is your last chance to get as much money socked away as you possibly can, because what is retirement? It's the ability to get a paycheck without going to work. Right. How do you get a paycheck? You have assets that pay you. Where does that come from? You got to put that money away.
Yeah, you have to invest it, whether it's stocks, bonds, real estate, whatever.
That's right. So take advantage of what the IRS allows you to do. Use that catch-up contribution and figure out a way to max out your retirement contributions. The number one thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, okay. So quick review of all of them from today. Number 3, pay off your house.
Pay off your house.
Right? Get it done, and just figure out how to get it done before you retire.
Yeah. So like you're one example, if you have 14 years, figure it out for 14-year payoff.
That's right. Get it done. Number 2
is your risk tolerance and rebalancing.
Risk tolerance, rebalancing. And then number 1, figure out how to max out those retirement contributions during this last and final decade.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So I think that's it for this week. If you've got questions of your own, please email those to us at questions@yourmoneypuzzle.com. Share us with your friends, family, and colleagues who need to hear the message. Please give us a rating on whatever app you're listening to this on, and give us a thumbs up on YouTube if you want to see what we look like. We're on there all the time.
We are.
Or at least once a week.
Well, not both of us. He's on it more than I am.
So I'm on here a little bit more. I can't always. It's a long drive for you.
It is. And with all of our clients, there's a lot of busy work.
There's a lot of stuff to get done.
A lot of fun stuff to get done.
That's right. I'm excited about 2020.
Yep.
We've got a lot of great things coming. We're going to now start tackling what to do in your 60s. That'll be our...
That's coming up.
That's coming up. And I love talking to folks in their 60s and dealing with those kinds of things. So we'll be back next week to start in on that one. Until then, please be safe, have some fun, and go do something to help improve your money puzzle. Your future self will thank you for it.
That's right.
Till next week.
Registered representative of and securities offered through Securities Management and Research Inc., SM&R. Member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through BFC Planning Inc. Edgen Insurance and Financial Services, Johnson Financial Services, SM&R, American National Family of Companies, and BFC Planning are independent entities. There are risks involved with investing which may include market fluctuation and possible loss of principal value. Particular investments may not be suitable for certain situations. Carefully consider the risks and possible consequences involved prior to making an investment decision. Our firm does not provide legal or tax advice. Be sure to consult with your own legal and tax advisors before taking any action that may have tax implications.